everyone, and welcome back to Paramount Sales, the series where I chat with the leaders of some of the most exciting and emerging B2B companies in the market today. Now, today, I have the privilege of being joined by Alan Thorpe, the founder of Three Value Things. Alan, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Very good, Matt. Good to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolute pleasure to have you, mate. Absolute pleasure. So today is a little bit different, as I wanted to do an episode that's really specifically focused on, B2B growth and go-to-market strategies, and talk through some of the changes that have occurred over the last 5 years or so. And I thought, who better to discuss this with than you, Alan? So
I'll take your word for that, Matt.
So for those of you who may be unfamiliar with Alan's work, Alan is a vastly experienced and highly respected sales and growth consultant who's worked in sales and digital strategy now for a number of years and worked with some very big names in the industry. And I can certainly say for certain that I've learned a hell of a lot from him since I started Paramount Sales last year. So look, Alan, before we discuss, sales and we go into the nitty gritty, let's learn a little bit more about yourself. This is Paramount Profiles after all. So look, let's start with Three Value Things. Do you want to give a brief overview of yourself and of the company, just for anyone who's maybe unfamiliar with what it is that you do?
Yeah, sure. So Three Value Things is a B2B marketing and sales consultancy, primarily working with scale-up technology companies. And I suppose the reason I founded it is because I'd come across over my career in marketing so many companies being ripped off by cold callers, spammers, you name it. But what they were doing, they'd sort of whack out loads of emails to your database, ruin your brand profile in the process with things that were completely irrelevant, and send you chasing around the country after unqualified leads. And I thought, well, no, this is just not good enough, really, because in all my years of selling for data technology companies, often fitted within advertising and marketing networks, funnily enough. What I realized is it's all about relevance. And if you don't have that relevance, you're really wasting your time. And the other thing was that this notion these spammers have that you can just send something out and magically leads will land is it's nonsense. It's all about, you've got to create that, you've got to give value before you take value, and you have to stay in mind for the long term, because the chances of you hitting someone just at that moment that they need what you're selling are frankly minuscule. So that's why I set up Three Value Things. But that came off the back of a long career initially as a program manager in technology companies, and then working for in marketing and advertising for the likes of WPP, then as a European director of Axiom, the big data company. And then working for agencies that blended technology and marketing that were scaling up. But I suppose the thing that I always loved going through my career, when I look back at, you get to a certain age when you suddenly look at your career and you go, which bit do I really enjoy? And you suddenly go like, well, being an MD, I was shit at that. Because frankly, you end up doing a lot of HR stuff, whereas actually doing the work, I was very good at, very successful. And then I thought, well, what kind of companies do I enjoy working with? And it was always, in the technology land, I worked for a couple of tech companies that grew and sold out. And when I went and worked for an agency after Axiom again, it was owned by a VC and it needed to scale and sell out. And I came in and helped them there, get them into lots of different places. And it's the energy that goes with scale ups, where everybody has a very definite goal that really sort of turns me on, I suppose, and I find it terribly exciting. So that's why, B2B, but very specifically with companies that want to go somewhere, companies that aren't just going to be every October going, let's just add 10% to last year's budget. That's just not good enough anymore. It has to be fun. It has to have the energy. So that's who I am. That's what I do.
Excellent. Now, I think it's fair to say we are in a similar space. So I think, as I said to you, as I said earlier, you post a lot of content. We've had plenty of conversations that we're really sort of on the same page, aren't we, when it comes to some of the strategies that companies need to put in. But let's let's just rewind this a little bit, because I'm always interested in how people go from full-time employment to whether it's a contract work or then starting up, because I've been in that boat. It's what I'm doing now. I'm self-employed, started a company. It's a big decision. So tell me about why you've said why you saw a gap on really what you wanted to do with Three Value Things. But tell me about the actual jump and said, right, actually, I can't work full time anymore. I don't want to work full time anymore. Working for yourself. Take me through that process.
Well, I think the first thing to say is I absolutely do want to work full time. And I do work full time. So it wasn't a case of not wanting to work full time or anything like that. It was more a case of wanting to get to the end of each day and feel that I'd added value for clients and feel that I'd helped move the dial. And I didn't feel I could do that anymore in the corporate world. There was, particularly once you're working in groups, there's always there's distractions, there's pressures. And then I sort of looked at the way the world was going, and I looked at my network, which is very extensive on LinkedIn, and the amount of people I'd see these open to work labels up all the time. And the instability in full-time employment is such that I thought to myself, well, if I've got, 3 or 4 clients and working with me and with I've got a lot of experts in my network who I sort of give work to, and I really should make a margin on it, but I don't get around to that. I think job security is much greater working for yourself than it is working full time for someone else, because you're in control. It's up to you, really. So I suppose yes, there's the initial leap, and I won't pretend that the first year wasn't a bit scary, and it didn't particularly help that little period when Liz Truss got in, when she ruined everybody's budgets. But I look at it over the last couple of years, and it's been wonderful, and it getting paid well, working pretty much full time with really interesting people who want to achieve a goal. I mean, what's better than that?